Boaz is looking for Ruth. Boaz finds Ruth. And then Ruth produces one of the mightiest men ever lived, King David. She's his great-grandmother. And is the man that you're looking for, that's what you want. You want a man that can produce a David if you're going to marry him. Now, I know all of y'all women have already asked the Lord for a righteous man. I know that, so I'm not going to tell you to get vain and repetitious, but I want you to know I'm in agreement with you. I want to let you know that I am touching and agreeing with you that you should find a righteous man. But let me say something to some of you women out there on the borders, on the shadows, right? Listen to me very carefully, especially you young women who are just getting started in life. You want a righteous man. You know that you do. You know what he's going to be like. You know what it's going to be like to be married to a righteous man, a homeowner, business owner, leader, elder. You know what that's like. But let me say something to you. If you want a righteous man, don't give vent to entertain any idea of any other kind of man, such as a gay man. No, you ain't gonna marry no gay man. You ain't gonna do that, but don't accept it. Don't even accept the fact that men present themselves as gay. You want a righteous man, right? You want a righteous man. Don't accept any man, whether it's your father or your brother or your cousin, that accepts men like Obama. Don't accept it. Say, no, I can't have no people like you in my life because you're going to get in the way of God sending me a righteous man. See, if you got a spirit to accept a man that accepts Obama, but yet you want a righteous man, you're two-faced and you're double-minded and you're unstable. You follow what I'm saying? Because anybody who accepts a man like Obama ain't got nothing going for him. I can tell you that right now. Anybody who looks up to somebody like that, creep. I mean, even Charlemagne the God shot him down. You can't be double-minded. You got a righteous man is what and you don't accept even your father. If he ain't righteous, then he got to go. Your brother, no, we ain't gonna sit down with you. You know, you ain't righteous. No, I don't want that spirit. I don't want to have two spirits in me. One spirit for me personally, but yet I let the spirit of these Obama type men be in my life. So, no, Now, one other thing I want to tell you as well, now, before I have to wrap things up here today, you know, you're never too old to get married. You're never too old to get married. You say, well, Pastor, I'm 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, you know. I'll tell you this right now, 30 is the new 17. If you're 30 years old now, it's a new 17. Life has changed. Years ago, boys and girls used to get married at 16, 17 years old. They stay married 40, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. But yeah, and some get married, they got divorced too. But people got married at a much earlier age because life was different then with respect to how people related. And life expectancy was less than it is now. But if you're 30 years old now, you're just starting out. It's like you're 17 going back 60 years ago. And so you're never too old to get married. And if you're 50, well, it's like being 30. You're never too old, even if you're 50, 50, 50. Sure enough, stomp down 50. You're still not too old to get married. There's a song that said, I'm too young to get married, but you're never too old to get married. But so here, what you do is this, is that you say, well, you know, I'm 60 years old and I'm looking to get married. Well, go ahead. You're not too old to get married. Have a lot of fun. You can have more fun getting married at 60 than you can at 16, if you know what I'm talking about. And you'll find out. Say, well, I can't have any children now. That's a good thing. No children? No problems. You want to raise children, you got to bring them through their adolescent age, through their teenage years. Crazy as all outdoors. When if they go on the drugs, they're going to come home with pink hair one day and a bone in their nose. You got to go through that. If you and your husband can't have no children, Lord have mercy. Y'all go ahead and have all the children. And same thing, I see a lot of people, grandparents, right? Oh, we're so glad to see the grandparents. Bring them over. And as soon as a couple of hours ago, when y'all go take grandchildren home, get them out of the house, they're tearing up everything, take them home. So me and Grandpa can go back to doing what we do. Can I share? I'm going to share this with you because I figure y'all can handle this. I do think y'all are mature enough to handle this, right? I'll tell you this. So Elizabeth and I, right, me and the wonderful, we had both of us had children outside of marriage. We had children from another marriage. I had children outside of marriage, but we had children from previous marriages, right? Her husband died, left her a widow. I got divorced. Well, I was divorced. And we had children from those relationships, right? But they're all grown now, got children of their own. But you know what I believe? I'll tell you what I believe because I figure you'll believe me. If I tell you I believe it, you'll figure you'll believe it as well. See, now if the Lord had gave Elizabeth and I a son, well, nobody else in the church could be anybody. All the young men running around now in the church, that I take pictures with, I talk to, we go back and forth. All the other men who got children, and there are a whole lot of young boys, a lot of young sons in the church, a lot of them, right? All of them. Youngest, I don't care the youngest one, even as young as Elisha, right? I mean, I go back and forth when I talk to him like, hey. But see, now if I had a son, but Elizabeth and I had our own blood son, well, Lord have mercy. All these other boys have to leave the church. No, they would. They couldn't get no play. No, he'd be sitting in the pulpit with me. So sometimes the Lord knows best, right? Anyway, he works things out, no, it's true. I'm laughing, but it's true. I'm laughing because it is true. But they say you're too old to get married, to have children. Well, come to the church and adopt some of these children. Got plenty of them around here. We got people in here can have children like that. Every time I turn around, their wives are pregnant. Adopt some of them. But not too long, though. For a couple of hours. Make them go back to their parents. But, have fun with children as well, you can, because they're a lot of fun. I tend to like them, me. But that's just me. So you're never too old to get married, right? And so if we are talking about Ruth and we're talking about Boaz and, the one thing you do, especially you young girls, all you young girls, raise your hand. All you young girls, we're going to dedicate the Pentateuch Vestas. You look at that man and say, because you got sense, if I marry this man, can he produce a Boaz or is he going to produce some other kind of idiot? Going to come home with pink hair or something? A boy, so because if you're looking at a young boy, right, and he wants to get next to you, well, first of all, you ain't got no business getting next to nobody, until you've gone through the other 7 criteria that we've set up. If you've met all those criteria, then you can consider talking to him. I said something the other day. I think some of the young girls think they didn't hear me straight. Now, I'm not going to go through the list of the 7 criteria that I made mention of, but I can post it. You should have heard it. And you better make sure that you know what every last one of them is. And don't lie to yourself. Whatever you do, when you go through that man, if he misses, he makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and misses 6, don't jiggy with him. But if he makes all 7, then you can consider losing your virginity to him. No, I said that. because you don't want to, sexual intercourse is an important part of a relationship. And you don't want to marry somebody who is gay. So you say, Pastor Manning, now don't go running around telling your parents I said you could lose your virginity to anybody. I didn't say that. That ain't what I said. That's not what I said. I said if he meets all 7 of the criteria, stomp down. Stomp down. He's a sure enough man, right? He got it going on. You say, well, Pastor Manning, the man I'm looking at right now, he meets everything, but he's not a business owner right now and he ain't got no money. Well, who does he work for? Well, he works for an idiot. Then get rid of him. But if he said, well, he works for somebody like Boaz, who's prosperous, who's wealthy, got big money, he's a mighty man, and my man works for Boaz. Marry him now before some other woman get him. Marry that man now if he meets all the other criteria. Because if he's working for a wealthy man and he keeps his nose clean and he does the right thing, he's going to be wealthy too. That wealthy man going to make him as wealthy and powerful as he is. He's going to give him all the power he got. That's what men do. That's how the world go around. That's what he going to get the same anointing of the man that he works for. Now, if he got the right attitude, he got some old crazy attitude, running around with Black Lives Matter, talking that slavery talk and all that other cold nonsense about I'm black and he's against me, don't even talk to him. If I find you talking to him, I'm going to excommunicate you. But, it's important that it isn't daughters, people like Virtuous, Debbie Myers, it ain't your fault. Your marital status right now is not your fault. You're not to blame. Don't blame yourselves. Sister Virtuous, don't blame yourselves. And I'm not against your sons or anybody like that. I'm praying for Victor. I'm praying for him. I don't know where Sister Virtuous son is. God only knows. Probably somewhere where her man she had her son for, We had a woman in our church, and I ain't talking up nobody's business here now, but she's the first woman I named Purple. Had a crazy son. He went out of school for a while. Her name was Purple. And she left the church because I said something about her son. She packed her son up and left. 10 years later, she came back. Her son now 23 years old, got a child of his own, and they all living in the same little crowded house. And I said, you're hurting that boy. You put him on the street. Anyway, she got angry again. You have to, and now it's just a mess. Daughters, don't go down that road. Don't, please. Listen to me preach. You don't understand, say, I don't know, that's a pastor preacher. But don't go down that road. So Boaz found Ruth. Boaz found himself a Ruth. Right work ethic. And every pastor is really looking for a woman or women that have the right work ethic. I was talking to Elizabeth right before we got married, right? So she was telling me she used to sell encyclopedias door to door, right? Y'all don't know anything about that. You have no idea what they do. Everybody got a computer. Nobody gets an encyclopedia. A set of encyclopedia used to call Britannica or Americana encyclopedia to cost you $400. But before computers, that's how children got their information. They'd go to these reference books. And so families bought them for their children. You sell them, you get a big commission, $100 per sale. That was a lot of money back in those days. And Elizabeth used to do that. She used to be out on the street at night, but walking through the communities with a big old bag, knocking on people's doors that you don't even know. I can tell you one thing. I sold encyclopedias too. I didn't put that in my resume, but I did. I sold encyclopedias for a brief period of time. And I was out in Long Island, out in Dix Hill, out in Huntington, and all those places out there in Long Island, right? I should go out there at night and walk around in the neighborhood. In those white neighborhoods, a black man, right, selling encyclopedia and didn't get shot. But this was before This was while the people were transitioning from civil rights to blackness and disobedience. This is before y'all got black and before y'all got disobedient. You could walk around in the neighborhood, a white neighborhood, a black man could walk around in a white neighborhood and knock on doors and not get shot. You try that now. You would go anywhere near a white neighborhood, try to sell something like that. They're going to shoot you. And they're going to call the police to come shoot you too. Because the world has changed so differently. All this hatred and racism and blackness is going on. It's crazy. But if you're young and ignorant, you're just young and ignorant, and you don't know any better. But Elizabeth told me she sold an encyclopedia. And I said, well, that's a good work. Anybody who can sell an encyclopedia, because they were a hard sell, had a good work ethic. And that's what Ruth had. You know, so you come to the ATLAH Church, you got a good work ethic, you're gonna go places, you know? And you know how to submit yourself, you're gonna go places. This is symbolic. It's where Jesus was baptized. It's where John baptized. And so this is not a rebaptism. It's just a symbolic, if you will, act of what we're going to do, being in the water at the place where Jesus was baptized. And what I'd like to do is to baptize today that we would come to terms with the understanding of what God is calling for in righteousness. He's not calling for prosperity. He isn't calling for culturalism. God is calling for righteousness. If we would commit ourselves to fulfill all righteousness, and God has calls us to be persecuted for righteousness' sake, as John was persecuted for righteousness, and so Jesus. I got to tell you that I'll never forget this experience of actually stepping in the water where Jesus were baptized, and where John has baptized so many people. This is such a historic and a powerful, powerful sight. Just to touch the water was so critical. And I'm glad that people got baptized to have that experience. It was a safe experience and a great experience. I'm not even going to change my clothes. I want to just stay in baptism mode until I get back to the hotel. So that's what I want to say. All right.
This has been live from the Jordan River. God bless you all. Peace. That's nice.
Got everybody. Righteousness. Boom, chakalaka goes right there.
Over the years, we have served more than 1 million meals to hungry bellies and hungry people here in the Harlem community. And I wanted you to be able to see that. I want you to see our involvement with youth, our summer youth programs, our courtyard being used as a place where children can be safe, guarded, and protected as they have their miniature swimming pools, and a safe place for children to eat that is guarded, that is protected by our own sense of security, and the wholesome and fresh meals that we serve. We wanted you to be able to see the mission of this church. And we've been doing this for years. Just recently, one of our members, more than a 30-year member of this church, but it hasn't, not one that, you know, that you would probably find as members of some other churches with their nose stuck up in the air. But her father is now close to death or very sick in the state of South Carolina. And I said to her, well, because she doesn't have money, I said, we will buy you a bus ticket, a round trip bus or train ticket for you to travel to South Carolina to be with your father in this time of pandemic. There's very little funding around. There's sickness everywhere. And the thing that just blew me away was she said, as she was talking to Elizabeth, she said, but how are you going to do that? To pay for me a round trip ticket to travel and give me expense money? And because Pastor Manning has to feed the children, he has to educate the children, he has to buy school supplies for them, he has to pick them up in the mornings and take them back, and then he's got the ministry he has to take care of, all the bills of running the church, of keeping a major house like our house operational, keep the lights on, how are you going to be able to do that? And she was almost reluctant to take the money because she felt that it would be better served by feeding the children. We gave it to her anyway. But we want you to know that we do a work in this community. There have been a lot of lies told on us. And it's almost unimaginable why some of the people that have lied on us. But I can tell you behind all of it is the LGBTQ community. Hallelujah. They don't want us to be successful, but we are, and we're going to continue to be successful in serving the meals that we're serving and serving the people that we are. And the LGBTQ community will not take us down. They are not going to take our church. Yet they've defamed us. They've written ugly newspaper articles about us. They've marched against us. They've done a whole lot of ugly things. But you see what we have done, and that's not even the half of our service to children and to the needy in terms of our homeless shelters and the things that we've done over the years. And we will continue. And probably the lies and the smears and the ugly newspaper articles and the wicked spirits and the so-called I ain't for the black man, that is not going to go away. I don't expect it to go away. I don't. But I do tell you this, that we will succeed against all of that, for God is with us, and I am his servant.